Hello, Serge here from the backyard driving range. All right, we have a question that came in from Joe Hunter. And Joe says, "Hi, I am now trying your method to get back some of the length I have lost over the years. Can you tell me about weight shift in the backswing?" Again, Joe Hunter from Scotland. Okay, hello from Scotland. The home of golf, right? Okay, Joe, you want to talk about the backswing. I think it's, I think it's a great place to start as far as power comes from. Now, one of the things that we have to always talk about in terms of anything to do with the peak performance golf swing is how our setup differs in many regards from the rest of the world to be able to make the peak performance golf swing. And one of the key ingredients to this is part of setup, which is going to help create the correct move that's going to get you to where we get behind the ball in the backswing so that we can be behind the ball at impact. We are about the only swing out there that truly is behind the ball at impact. Most golf today with the rotational swing, as soon as you stop turning your body so fast, it pulls your hands out in front, and in turning your body is automatically pulling you to ahead of the ball. Whereas when we make the bump, the lower body from the waist down will be going forward, and as the bump creates what Dr. Armstrong calls the secondary spine angle tilt, which gets us behind the ball so that arms can straighten out to the hit. You can see it with baseball players when they stand there and hit it like this. You can see it with cricket players. I have actually a picture of a cricket player where he's wearing those knee pads and everything else, and a ball came in really close to him, and he's like this on it. Now sometimes when they get the ball right at him and they're going to move out of the way this way, they're going to be coming across with it. But whenever they get a ball out in front of them and they can get in there, you're going to see the cricket player, the baseball player, he stays back, and that's how they can launch him. They're behind the ball unless he's trying to get ahead of it and knock it. Say if he's batting right-handed, which is on the left side of the plate, and he's trying to hit it down the right field. But if he's going to end up hitting it straight or pulling it, as they call it, he's going to be behind the ball at impact. All right. So we stop behind the ball. So the first thing would be is we have the narrow stance, wide knees, outward pressure, because the outward pressure, especially resisting with the left knee, is to give us the limited turn. We turn into the catch, we take the club into the catcher's mitt, turn only to the toe line, then it's all lift from there. And once we're coming up, we're going to ring the bell and bump. Now the bell is basically, I call this this is the top of our backswing, and that would be our finish, the hand position. It's point A, point B. You can do the find top of backswing test, which is take you this position, put your arm under your left elbow or just under your forearm, and just stand here and hold and resist your left knee and lift as far as you can go, keeping your head still and your spine angle straight. And there's the bell position, okay? In my mind, I always play with one of those desk bells with a little plunger. I turn it upside down. So when I'm coming up and I hit that plunger, bing, bang, I take off. I call that the Big Bang Theory, okay? Or the Big Bang Principle. Now, here's the point. Basically, because I don't have a club in my hand, and I'm doing this really slow so I can make sure I feel everything. I can feel that holding my knee, I'm holding my spine straight, keeping my head still. This is a lot lower than it's going to be when I really get going and I get into dynamic movement with the club now moving, which now I'm giving it weight, acceleration, momentum, pull me along. So the bump is I'm going to ring that bell a little bit below where I will eventually get to in a dynamic swing. Okay, you with me now? And so what's going to happen is bing, this is gone, and when I go bing and it starts this way, my arms and hands are going to keep going up. Now remember, there's no more turn once I reach my toe line. Once the club is over the toe line, right, there's no more turn, it's all lift. So, but it's lifting. And when I was in my younger days, and I've had students that hadn't seen me for 5, 6, 8 years sometimes tell me, "Boy, yes, you don't raise your hands up as high as you did in the backswing." I can't do it. I'd like to get a little bit more. I think I could get back a little the distance I lost, but I can't do it at the expense of losing my spine angle. So until I can get more supple and flexible, I can't even think about raising my hands more because I have to maintain my spine angle to be able to return back to where I started from. Okay? So, but back then, back in my Harbortown days, I could, once I rang my bell and I can see, and I put the camera on myself right, and the first time I see that hip go, my hands are going up, I give the hip that. I used to count, I could have 4 clicks of the camera that my hands stood up. Now, I have maybe 1. That's it. So I've lost 3 clicks. All right, and with it I've lost almost the whole club, 10 yards. But I'm still hitting it solid, I'm still hitting it straight, and I got to live with it because I'm 64 years old and I'm not going to get any longer. If anything, I'm going to keep getting shorter. So the one thing I don't want to give up is hitting as good as I hit it, solid and straight as I hit it. Because to get shorter and lose accuracy and lose control of the golf ball is unforgivable, right? So I'm keeping my priorities in the right place. Hit it solid and straight, keep the ball in play, and I'm going to play better golf. Distance is out of the question. So now back to the backswing. So I got all this in place. So you get into what we call preloaded heavy right. You're like picking up your belt and just going and moving yourself like 1 inch over here. It's almost the exact same thing as feeling like you've just well, look what happens. If I drop my club on the ground, I think that grip's about an inch in diameter. If I put my foot on top of that, if I tried to stay level, as soon as I put my foot on that, it pushes me back a little bit. That's all you want, about the feeling of about 1 inch backwards. And the easy way to check it is if you close your eyes and if you were in the right position, you could take the top of your sternum, move it 1 inch that way, and be able to pick your left foot up. I've had golfers standing here and they're bent back like this, the old days of the right knee. I say, okay, if you could move 1 inch right or left, and pick up the opposite foot, which way are you going to go? And they're all telling me that their weight is, they got their weight they got themselves behind the ball. And then eventually they go like that and they can pick that foot. I say, holy cow, I'm totally opposite. Yeah, you had your lower body forward, you had your upper body back, it felt back because your upper body was back, but you had too much of your upper body forward. We got to move the whole building a little bit and give that little 1 inch tilt. Now, once you're there and you keep the wide knees out with pressure, here comes the backswing. You're going to take the club into the catcher's mitt, up the tree, and you're going to turn. You're going to have that little bit of turn, and once the club reaches the toe line, it ends. It's all lift. But as all of this is going up, guess what should happen? Most everybody I see swinging a golf club, the first thing when they start moving, the first thing that happens is the right leg is straightening. And if the right leg is straightening, it's very likely pushing you forward. We have to what I call sit or sink into the right side. You got to sit or sink. Because why? If you properly shift your weight, this leg should be receiving the weight. It's like getting into your car or getting into a golf car. Once you sit down and all that weight is on the car, the springs compress. It goes downward, it receives the weight. This is receiving the weight. This is rejecting the weight. Receiving, rejecting. If anything, the knee in its flexed position should receive a little bit more weight. You should feel it from the back of your knee all the way up through your buttocks and right up to your belt line. Just like a baseball player throwing it, the quarterback goes back, he sits back and he throws. So we have to sit into the right side. We have to sit or sink onto it. All right, and then what goes down can swing up better. But I think one of the biggest detriments to people being able to swing up to the tee finish is what's one of our main tenets is if you straighten your right leg up, how can you push off? And number one, how can you push off your right leg? Because your right leg has pushed you forward. You have to get onto it. You have to sink. The muscles have to be receiving the weight and onto that right foot. So even at the best, if you just stay dead level, at least you can push off it because you get on it. You can't push off if you didn't get on it. And that's one of the biggest things that most people get into trouble because, especially if you move your left knee too much, the knee goes down, the forward knee goes down, back knee goes straight. So one of the biggest things I always work on when I take my practice swings, I always want to feel more weight, more pressure going to my right foot, the center of my right foot, because it's got to stay on the center. I want to feel that going down. So then when I make the swing, I can feel it because if my leg received the weight, I'm on it, and now I can push off of it and push off by swinging up to the tee finish. Okay? So hopefully this answers your question. The right leg has to compress, it has to sit and sink into it, and it starts by being on it in the first place, preloaded heavy right. For a right-hander, preloaded heavy left for a left-hander. Get preloaded, sit or sink, and then you can push off and swing up, and that's going to help all the speeds, and especially your arm speed, to get more club head speed, which is the only way that you can hit the ball more solid, more straight, and longer. So you can help shoot those lower scores. All right, that's it for the search for today, and I'll be talking with you all again soon.